Have you ever been scrolling on your phone and just wondered, how does it know? How does it know exactly what video to show you next? You might think you're the one in control, but what if I told you a lot of those decisions were made for you by code? Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the invisible algorithms that are quietly running our world.
So who is in the driver's seat in your digital life? Well, the thing is, it's not a who, it's a what. We're talking about a huge network of automated systems making millions of tiny decisions about your life every single day. So let's take a look at where they're showing up.
First up, the obvious one, your social media feed. Every single post, every video, every weirdly specific ad is meticulously curated by an algorithm. Its job is to learn what you like, what you click on, and then build this perfect little personalized reality just for you. It's fantastic for keeping you engaged, but it can also build a bubble around you, walling you off from different points of view. Okay, next up, your finances. Thinking about applying for a loan, a credit card? Well, more and more, the first person to approve or deny you isn't a person at all. It's an automated system, analyzing thousands of data points about you. It's gotten so intense that some companies pretty much believe all data is credit data, even if they haven't figured out how to use it yet. And it doesn't stop there. This can even affect your career. When you apply for a job these days, there's a very good chance an AI system is the first one to screen your resume. It's deciding if you're a good fit before a human being ever even sees your name. So your social feed, your credit, your job, you're probably seeing a pattern here. These aren't just separate little things. They're all part of this massive societal shift that experts have started calling our new algorithmic culture. So what exactly is algorithmic culture? Well, researcher Andre Lamos put it perfectly. He said that algorithms aren't just passive tools anymore. They've become the new media. They don't just show you reality, they actively shape it. They nudge you, they compel you, they encourage you to act in certain ways. They are the invisible architects of our daily choices. But for any of these algorithms to work, they need fuel. And that fuel is data. Specifically, your personal data. And this is where the real conflict comes in, because the more data these systems have, the more powerful they get. But at the same time, the riskier things become for all of us. And listen, not all data is created equal. Brazil's data protection law, the LGPD, creates a very special category for sensitive personal data. This isn't just your name or your email address. This is the core of who you are, your race, your religion, your political views, your health. And why the special protection? Because in the hands of a biased algorithm, this is the exact kind of information that can be weaponized to deny you a job, a loan, or even just fair treatment. And this example right here shows you just how high the stakes are. Just look at how an AI in healthcare could go terribly wrong. A biased model, maybe one that's driven by socioeconomic status, could give more resources to a wealthy patient who's not that sick. But a fair model, one driven by medical need, does the exact opposite. It prioritizes the poorer but much sicker patient. This isn't theoretical. This is a potential life or death decision being powered by data. And this brings us to a really crucial point, which is summed up perfectly in this quote by Cathy O'Neill. The wealthy and privileged, they often get the benefit of human judgment. But for the vast majority of us, our lives are increasingly being judged, scored, and sorted by automated systems, which she calls weapons of mass destruction. So if you're faced with that reality, what's the defense? How do you push back? Well, in Brazil, the answer came in the form of a landmark law, the Lei Geral de Proteção de Dados. You can just call it the LGPD. Think of it as the country's official rulebook for the digital age. Now, the LGPD didn't just pop up out of nowhere. It actually builds on an earlier law from 2014 called the Marco Civil da Internet. That law was kind of like Brazil's constitution for the internet. It established big ideas like privacy and net neutrality. But it was a bit broad. The LGPD is the follow-up that gets into the nitty-gritty, providing super detailed rules for how all personal data, online and offline, has to be handled. And to make it all work, the LGPD gives everyone a clear job. It's actually pretty simple. First, there's the titular. That's you, the person who owns the data. Then you have the controlador, which is the company calling the shots on why and how your data is used. And finally, you have the operador, who does the actual grunt work of processing the data, but only on the controller's instructions. So Brazil has this really strong law on the books. Problem solved, right? Well, as we all know, having a great rulebook is one thing, but making it work in the real world, that is a completely different challenge. This quote from legal expert Patricia Peck-Pinheiro really gets to the heart of the problem. A culture of data protection is still pretty new in Brazil. Let's be honest, most of us are in the habit of scrolling to the bottom and clicking I agree without reading any of the fine print, right? We're just giving our data away without really understanding the risks. And that cultural habit is just one piece of the puzzle. There are other big hurdles. For small and medium-sized businesses, it can be really expensive and complicated to comply. There's also a big shortage of professionals who actually understand this stuff. And on top of it all, the national authority in charge of enforcement, the ANPD, has limited resources to try and monitor a country as huge as Brazil. But don't mistake those challenges for weakness. The LGPD has real teeth, and the ANPD is starting to bite. In 2022, a major healthcare provider got sanctioned for security failures. Then, in 2023, a huge publisher was fined millions for using data for marketing without consent, and a bank got fined for not being transparent enough. The message is becoming crystal clear. Complying with this law is not optional.
Okay, so the LGPD was a giant step forward for data rights in Brazil. But technology never stands still, does it? That means the laws have to keep evolving too. So what's the next frontier in this fight for a fairer digital world?
Well, the next chapter seems to be about regulating the algorithms themselves. And Brazil is already looking ahead with a proposed AI bill. If it passes, it would give you the right to know when you're interacting with an AI, the right to an explanation for an AI's decision, the right to contest that decision, and this is a big one, the right to demand a human review when the stakes are high. And the solutions aren't just legal, they're also technological. One of the most promising ideas out there is something called federated learning. It basically flips the old model on its head. Instead of your sensitive data traveling to some central company server, the AI model travels to your device. It learns what it needs to locally and then only sends the anonymous lessons back. Your raw data never leaves your control. It's a really powerful way to get the benefits of AI without sacrificing your privacy. And remember that biased healthcare algorithm we talked about earlier? Well, there's a whole field of computer science called fairness in AI that is dedicated to preventing exactly that. These are researchers building tools to audit algorithms for hidden biases and re-engineer them for more equitable outcomes. The goal is to make the technology itself part of the solution, not just the problem.
Which leaves us with this one final, crucial question. We're living in a world that is fundamentally run by algorithms. We've seen how they can be biased, and we've seen how laws like the LGPD are trying to fight back. But as this technology gets smarter and more integrated into every corner of our lives, are the rules we're writing today strong enough to protect our rights tomorrow? That's the question we all need to start asking.